Hey, what's up everybody? Tech Chucker here, and today we're going to do another review of the Hasbro Marvel Legends X-Men Wave Kitty Pryde. Now, yes, I understand she is a B squad through and through in this wave, but you know what? In my heart, she's making the A team. Oh yeah, she's definitely making the A team. And once we crack this sucker open, I think you'll understand why. Alrighty, let's get this party started. We're going to take a look at the articulation, obviously, and she comes on a ball peg with, what's this? It's a hinge joint in the neck. She can get her head up all the way, get her chin all the way down into her chest. She's got full side-to-side rotation with no issues. And look at that tilt. Oh my gosh, it is amazing. I can't believe. Let's take a closer look at that hinge joint. That is right, folks. That is a hinge joint on a female Marvel Legends Hasbro action figure. Do I have that wrong? No, she's got shoulder joints that have a ball hinge. She's got full rotation. There is no swivel at the bicep, but there is one at the elbow and a single joint in the elbow. There is a peg joint in the wrist and a hinge in the wrist. Not too bad articulation for those arms. In the torso, she's got, I believe it's that double ball hinge again. She's okay with the ab crunch. It's not super great, but it's okay. And then she's got a decent back arch, which works pretty well. She's got a good rotation at that torso, the upper torso, and then there is a little bit of tilt as well, or crunch, side crunch you might call it, and that actually works pretty darn well. She's got T-jointed hip joints, which for this particular body mold is not very good. I'm really not very happy with how that works. Let's do the flat-footed stance, and it's pretty pitiful. She needs to go to yoga or Pilates or something. I don't know what it is. She's barely able to get her leg kicked out. Not even really all the way out. Not really able to get that leg kicked back much either, which is pretty disappointing. The upper thigh cut works pretty well, no issues with that. So I'm happy with, well, I don't know if I'm happy, but I'm satisfied, or that's pretty much what I expect with that. She's got double jointed knees, which work fairly well. No problems there. As you can see, she's able to get that bent pretty much in half. And then there is an ankle hinge, which gets her foot back about this much. She's able to get her foot forward a little bit. I wish it would have been a little bit more. And then she does have an ankle rocker, which works pretty well. So overall, the articulation on this Kitty Pryde is really quite good. She's fun to pose. She's very much a fun figure to pose. I am getting a little bit tired of the torso articulation. I wish that we had a waist swivel. I would prefer to have that in addition to the upper torso bicep. That's not a bicep. The upper torso double ball hinge. I would like to have both. It's not a hinge either. Oh, I'm just striking out here, guys and gals. It's because I just love that hinge joint in the neck. Nice segue, Tech Chucker. Alrighty, so overall the articulation's pretty darn good, especially getting that new articulation point on a female figure. Time to look at the sculpt and paintwork on this figure. And I really like what Hasbro did on this figure. I think they did a really, really good job with this Kitty Pryde. And we're going to start obviously with the head sculpt, and I think that the face is a really nice sculpt. I think they did a good job with it. I think they painted the eyes at least really nicely on mine. I think that the skin tone is pretty good. I really like this ponytail. It doesn't get in the way. There could be a little bit more shading in the paint, I would say, in the hair, but overall I am pretty darn satisfied. Moving down into the torso, I like the costume. I like the shoulder pads. I like that that's sculpted in and it's not just painted in. You see that little ridge. The paint is kind of messy. You can see that there's a little bit of yellow that kind of crept into the black where it shouldn't be, but overall it's not too bad. Moving further down, this belt, again, there's a little bit of messiness in that paint, but otherwise I think the belt is sculpted pretty darn well. You know, it clearly it could be a little bit better. Clearly there could be some nicer paint. Let's take a look at that butt. She's, yeah, she's got a little bit of paint rub on the butt, and who knows what that's from. I don't. But you know, the rest of the body, I'm glad that they used these feet. They're slightly larger feet, and so she can actually stand pretty well. There is no shading throughout this figure, at least not throughout the costume on this figure. Nothing on the body whatsoever in terms of paint shading. But you know, I'm still pretty happy. I do think she's slightly too tall. You know, throwing Iceman in next to her. Maybe if I actually put them next to each other. See, I just said that she had good feet for standing, and then I can't get her to stand. Take a second to think about this. But I do think that she's a little too tall. You know, I should probably focus, shouldn't I? So I think she's just a hair too tall. I don't know. I know that adding in that hinge in the neck kind of gave her a little bit more height. I think that the legs might be just a hair too long. I don't know if it's the legs or maybe it's the torso. It's probably the legs that are just a little too long. But aside from that, I really like the sculpt. I like those little cuff things, the yellow things. I like the hands. You know, there's not a lot that's upsetting me about this figure. Alrighty, so Kitty Pryde comes with one accessory, and it's this little dragon. And I honestly, I have to admit, I didn't know who this was, so I looked him up, and it's Lockheed, who is a fictional character appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics, most commonly in association with the X-Men. He is an alien dragon that is the longtime companion of Shadowcat. But this is a really cool little accessory, and you know, it's nice enough. There's not a lot for paint on it. I don't think there's really any except for on the eyes, but it's a nice soft pliable plastic you can see here, and you know, he fits relatively well on Kitty's arm, like a eagle or a falcon or something could sit and perch on her wrist. You know, and it works fairly well. So, you know, I like this accessory. I do wish that maybe we got some alternate hands with this figure. That would have been cool as well. You know, to get something a little bit more with her, maybe an alternate head. But you know, this is nice enough. It's unique enough. It's something that, you know, we haven't gotten a million times. So you know, I'm happy with this. Definitely would have liked to have had a little bit more. But overall, I gotta say, this Kitty Pryde is probably one of my favorite figures from this wave. It's certainly not my favorite, but it's up there. If there weren't so many really cool figures in this line, this would definitely be one of my favorites. But I also like the Kitty Pryde character, even though somehow I have never seen Lockheed before. So, I don't know, but whatever. Alrighty, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. Maybe it has convinced you that you should go ahead and buy this figure. If it did, make sure you hit like and make sure you subscribe, because there's plenty more where this came from. Until next time, I'll see you later.
Tetris Brain Blast.